What is the biggest problem in Dead by Daylight? Well, if you're on DBD Twitter, then the answer to that question will depend on what day of the week it is. Most recently, it's been dead hard, and that's all thanks to a video that Artstava posted, which then kind of kicked off a storm of chaos of everybody having to put in their opinions about it. The video in question was this one, which was basically just him making a point of having to wait out dead hard, and everybody had an opinion on this, including me. By the way, I also put my opinion up. This was mine. Can't lie, complaining about dead hard right now feels ridiculous. We just got it nerfed into a pretty good place. This is like getting a new phone at Christmas and then demanding a new one 2 months later. It can be difficult to deal with sometimes, but isn't that the point of a perk? And this is an opinion I stand by even now, but the biggest problem of Dead by Daylight is not dead hard, nor is it Eruption, which is the other side of the coin that Twitter is currently complaining and arguing about. Nope, the biggest problem in Dead by Daylight is the constant moaning and complaining from the community. Now, before I delve into this, I want to make it very, very clear that having an opinion about the game or about anything in general is completely fine. And of course, everyone is entitled to their opinions. And on top of that, if you do have something negative to say, or if you just don't like something, then that's fine too. But the problem with Dead by Daylight in particular is that the community's negativity has kind of become overwhelming, and it almost feels like you're not actually allowed to like anything anymore without being absolutely ridiculed for doing so. For example, recently it was announced that Maurice was coming back into the game, the horse that was taken away from us when Dredge was introduced. He's been gone a long time, and so a lot of people have been really excited about it. But I saw one conversation where somebody was excited and somebody else had to come in and start complaining about the Maurice skin that Dredge now has, and about how behavior didn't make it available for Eerie Shards when ages ago they said they were going to make things available for Eerie Shards. And it's just like, I mean, yeah, but why did you have to complain about that in that scenario? Another example on top of that is think about any match that you've played in Dead by Daylight. Now, if you've won, or even if you haven't won sometimes, it's very likely that you've encountered somebody who has complained about a perk or a playstyle rather than just saying GG in the endgame chat. In fact, it's actually become more shocking to have a full endgame chat of GGs, which is just crazy if you really think about it. The fact that we've gotten to that point where getting multiple GGs feels weird. To be honest, what I'm trying to say and what I'm going to be trying to say in this whole video is kind of hard to put into words without annoying people. But there was a tweet I saw recently from Edgar Allan Bro, which really put it into perspective quite nicely. And it reads, "I admire when people are passionate about their interests, but not to a fault. I haven't streamed Dead by Daylight for weeks now for a simple reason. In its current state, the community is just so unbelievably negative. Passion is good. Relentless pessimism is not." And I agree. I stream like 3 or 4 times a week on Twitch, and it's incredibly common for people to come into my stream to complain about something, about a match they're in, or about a change that they're making, or about a skin that they've brought out. Anything and everything is on the cards, and it's more likely that I will get people complaining than people speaking positively. Basically, right now, the vibe that the Dead by Daylight community has created is that everything that has, can, or will ever happen in the game is guaranteed to be bad. And thinking positively or optimistically about anything is just foolish. For example, there was this tweet about Eruption, which said, same as Eruption, only that Eruption was bad before and it's probably going to be bad after the next patch. But thankfully, I think there are some things we can do to try and change this and move the community into a better direction. So let's start with the first thing. Now, as I said earlier, having an opinion, whether positive or negative, or having complaints about something is completely fine. And in fact, criticism is actually healthy, because that's how things improve. It's by people giving criticism about it. But there is a very key difference between giving criticism and just straight up shitting on something. For example, let's take this reply to the tweet that I put up earlier about Dead Hard, which says, specifically the last sentence, "Dead Hard and Eruption need to be nerfed so hard, no one will ever think to use them again." How is that helpful? How is that constructive? Now, I don't mean to single this person out in particular, because to be honest, this is a really common narrative that I see all the time in the community. It's people who just complain with no intention of finding a real solution or even discussing a real solution. This person just wants Dead Hard and Eruption to be gone, for no one to use them, which if it's a perk in a game, people are going to use them. That's the point of the perks in the game, and just wanting them to be nerfed to the point where nobody uses them again is not at all helpful, really, is it? It becomes people just complaining for the sake of complaining, which isn't helpful or constructive to the game or to the community in general. And now I'm not saying that everybody will or should have the solution to every problem that they think of, but we should at least be open to hearing other people's opinions, hearing other people's potential solutions, which leads me on to my next point. Listen to each other. Such a simple concept, and yet so many people seem to struggle with it. Far too many people in the Dead by Daylight community seem more interested in trying to find a way to write off another person's opinion rather than actually listening to it. For example, let's return to the original tweet from Utstava that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, and somebody's reply to it, which was, imagine how we feel on Survivor when we have to wait for 25 seconds after Eruption activates. And Arts makes a very good point in his reply when he says, why say we as if I've never played Survivor before? This feeds into the whole us versus them mentality that is so prevalent between killers and survivors right now in the community. And the idea that one side can't have an opinion on something because of the role they prefer to play in the game, which is so dumb. It may sound silly, but it's actually why I've stopped saying that I'm a killer main. I've started saying that I'm 50-50, I play both sides, because so many people would actually use the fact that I say I'm a killer main against me in conversations, which it just doesn't make sense. Basically, it doesn't matter who a person is in a conversation. Their opinion is worth just as much as yours, so you should listen to it and respect what they're saying. The final thing I think we can do as a community, just to make this all a little bit better, is to talk about the positives a lot more. It's actually far too rare to see people talking about what they like about the game and celebrating these things, rather than just complaining about things. So I think we need to do more of that. In fact, I challenge each and every one of you watching this video right now to think of 3 things about Dead by Daylight that you really like. Now, you don't have to, of course, but I do implore you to share them. You can either leave them in a comment down below on this video, you can tweet about them, maybe get a bit of positivity on Dead by Daylight Twitter, that would be something, or you could even talk about them in your communities if you're a creator yourself. Either way, it would be good to start getting them out and start talking about things that we like and things that we enjoy about the game. And you know what? I'll start. I'll practice what I preach, and I will give my 3 favorite things about the game. My first thing is that I get to play as iconic horror characters, whether they are the survivors or the killers. You know, running around as Ghostface or as Bubba or as Michael Myers is kind of really cool if you think about it, and it's what initially drew me to the game in the first place, and something which I still love and get really excited about whenever a licensed IP is announced as the next chapter. The second thing I love is the variety that we currently have in killers and the playstyles available to them in each of the different characters. Now, admittedly, if you're playing a survivor, you see a much smaller selection of these killers available that you play against, but even so, the fact that we have so many different playstyles available that pretty much suits everybody who would be playing in the game is really cool. And the third thing, which to be honest has always been my favorite thing about this game, is the character design and the cosmetics design. The art team of Dead by Daylight consistently just smash it every single time they bring something new out. And, you know, recently the Maurice skin for Dredge is so cool. The Birkin skin for Blight is also phenomenal. Like, all of these different cosmetics and the way that they design their original characters as well has always just been something which I've been blown away by, and I love seeing what they do with new things each and every time they release something. So those are my 3. Now it's your turn. This video and this topic of conversation as a whole will always be a hard one to bring up, because a lot of people are just immediately going to see it as you trying to squash their opinions if it is in any way negative. And that's not what it's about. It's literally just a call for everybody to be more positive about the game, to think about the things you like rather than the things you don't like. What brings you back to this game? What makes you load it up every day or every other day or however often you play it? What makes you do that? What makes you jump back into the game? And honestly, if you are sat there thinking, I can't think of 3 positive things that I like about the game, why are you playing? It feels that simple. If this game truly is as negative as some people make it out to be, if it is as soul-crushing to play as some people claim it is, then don't play it. Play something else. Go and find a different game that is going to give you more happiness than what Dead by Daylight currently gives you. Overall, the game isn't a bad game. It has its flaws, but every game has its flaws. And in an online multiplayer asymmetrical game, there are probably going to be more flaws that we will find than most other games because it's harder to balance, etc., etc. It's a whole different topic of conversation, but there must be something that is bringing you back. So what is it? And that would about do it for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and let me know what you think down in the comments. I look forward to hearing everybody's 3 favorite things. And thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out, and leave a like on the video, of course. Go out there and be the best damn cronks that you can be. Go spread some positivity, and I will see you guys in the next video or stream. Bye for now.
So let me break it all down for you. I ain't never giving up, I ain't never, you know I'm taking that crown from you.